This week on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. The Jaguars are back in the win column, but they didn't celebrate for long. This week, the Jets are in town, coming off a primetime performance they'd like to forget.
Usually when a team gets blown out, they usually come, a lot more focused and locked in that next week.
Plus, we take you back to the sidelines in Cincinnati. All that and much more to come on Jaguars Weekend.
This is TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. And Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
No, that's what we're all, everybody in that room is worried about beating the Jets this week. And then next week is going to be beating the Texans, and then after that, it'll be beating whoever else we play after the bye.
We have ourselves a great problem in Jacksonville. Two talented quarterbacks who will both be ready to play after the bye week. For now, the focus is on the Jets. Hello and welcome to TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. I'm Ashlyn Sullivan. We're halfway through the 2019 season. The Jaguars are 3-4, looking to even out their record before they board the flight to London next week. First things first, the Jags are working for a win at home.
Minshew will float one up for Cole. Touchdown!
Great job. Gardner Minshew has led this team to 3 wins, while Nick Foles has been out with a broken collarbone. Foles returned to practice this week and is eligible to play after the bye. The team is excited to have both quarterbacks on the field.
Yeah, it was cool to see him back at it. Honestly, it looked like nothing really happened. 2 quarterbacks that we can win with, and that's a good problem.
Soon the Jaguars will have the option of playing a Super Bowl MVP or a rookie quarterback who has exceeded expectations.
I think we're pretty good at quarterback, if nothing else, hopefully that's the case. We love working together, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
While it's exciting to think about the what-ifs at quarterback after the bye week, for now the Jaguars have to worry about getting win number 4 against a team who's better than what their record says.
It's any given Sunday, so I know they'll be ready Sunday trying to bounce back, and we just got to get ready. They got some good offensive weapons. It'll be a good challenge for us on Sunday.
Much more football to talk about as we bring in Brian Sexton and John Ogier. We're going to talk much more about this for the next few weeks, but there's a little bit of a quarterback controversy going on right now. It stirred up Wednesday when Nick Foles returned to practice. Unsure what they're going to do after the bye week when he can come back. Gardner Minshew playing well in his place.
Well, you still have 2 weeks to figure it out, and even 3 once you go into the bye. I don't think it's going to be a big issue inside the building because I think they're going to go back to Foles. Outside the building, people may not understand that. But there's been a few things with Minshew in the last couple weeks that I wonder about in terms of pocket presence, red zone stuff. Also, Brian, this was the plan, and I'm not sure that Minshew has knocked them off the plan.
No, I don't think he has. I think if they're in a position to challenge for a wild card spot, then he has far exceeded expectations. Mm-hmm. The plan, though, brings Foles in at a moment in the season where the last 2 years he's made his fame, right? When the Eagles lost their starting quarterback, he stepped in. He took him to a Super Bowl. He took him deep into the playoffs. Well, who would you rather have, a young, inexperienced quarterback who's showing some signs of unsteadiness all of a sudden, or Nick Foles? I'll take Nick Foles all day.
At the same time, if he plays well these next few weeks and if he's hot, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's November, and November is when the speed of the game ratchets up a notch, and I want a guy out there who gives me the best chance to win. And I love what I'm seeing from Minshew. I think he's the quarterback of the future. But the quarterback of the playoffs in the present, I think has to be Foles.
A significant loss to the defense we found out earlier this week. Marcel Darius having surgery, out 4 to 6 weeks. How big of a blow is that to the defense?
Well, it's big because he's the run-stopping guy. They've had trouble there. He's good against that. So Taven Bryan's got to make up for it. I think he can, but to say that he's not going to be a loss is
it's
wrong.
a loss. I watched a play from the end zone last week where Marcel Darius made the tackle, but not with his hands, but the body of the guard that he picked up and threw into him. There aren't many people in the league that can do what Marcel Darius does. It will be a loss, though. Taven Bryan is starting to play well. People in our game don't have patience anymore. Bryant is getting better. If he wasn't a star automatically, they don't want to give it to him. Watch this kid. He's getting better.
Well, now he has even more reps to get better. That's for sure. Stay tuned. Much more here on Jaguars Weekend. There's more to come on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. The Jets' offense is searching for an identity after Sam Darnold's 5-turnover performance on Monday Night Football. The Jaguars aren't taking New York lightly. We visit the film room with head coach Doug Marrone next.
This defense that we're going against is one of the best defenses in the league. I think number 2 in stopping the run. So 1-5, but definitely a very talented team, very capable team.
Wide receiver DJ Chark is leading the AFC in receiving yards. He'll look to keep that momentum going this week against the Jets. We're back on TIAA Bank Jaguars weekend. The Jets are flying into Jacksonville desperate for a win. They're 1-5 and coming off an ugly game against the Patriots. On Sunday, when these two teams take the field, records go out the window. The Jaguars' focus is stopping a talented quarterback in Sam Darnold and one of the best running backs in the game, Le'Veon Bell. Head coach Doug Marrone and Jeff Lageman dive deeper into this matchup in the Cadillac film room.
Great challenge this week, Doug, with the New York Jets coming in. Le'Veon Bell, who has been a great back through the years, and he still shows some signs of being a great back as he did Monday night like this.
He really does a good job. Obviously, we have experience, going against him when he was in Pittsburgh, and he's a good inside runner, good outside runner. He can jump over you, he can run through tackles. So, we've got to get a lot of people around him. We've got to make sure that we wrap up. He's also good coming out of the backfield receiving.
Yeah, he's one of the top backs in the league, running backs receptions-wise. Sam Darnold had a rough outing on Monday night, and this was one of his better plays that he had. But going back to the Dallas Cowboys game that he had, he was really good, like this play right here where he completes it to Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, he showed great anticipation obviously on this play. He put the ball where obviously only the receiver can get it. But I think, like you said, I mean, in this sport, you're going to have ups and downs and good games and bad. And when you go back, a lot of people reference this game as not being a game that he played well. But when you go back to the Dallas game, you're going to see a lot of great throws, a lot of great anticipation where he really played well.
I remember watching the Dallas game, the Jets game prior to Monday night, and I said to myself, they're going to give the Patriots a run for the money, but obviously the avalanche of turnovers affected them greatly. The defense. Boy, everybody knows that Greg Williams likes to blitz. And when he gets the third down, 50% is about the ratio of the blitz. And they blitzed Tom Brady a little bit. They paid for it some, but overall they've been pretty good.
They're good. I mean, Greg Williams has done a great job over a bunch of years. I mean, again, consistency, it's tough. They give you a lot of different looks. You really at times don't know who's coming, and that's what is a great challenge for us. But again, it'll be a challenge. Whether they come after us or whether they're going to play us in coverage or do a little bit of both, we're going to have to be ready for it.
That was Quinnen Williams, the brother of one of your guys, Quincy Williams, and the other Williams brothers. Well, he's not brothers, obviously, but it's Leonard Williams here, former first-round pick back in 15 out of USC. Good football player, and he gets pressure on Tom Brady right here.
Yeah, he's been consistent for a while, as far as an inside player. He's very good, obviously, against the run. Doesn't have the sack totals, and people will talk about that, but he affects the quarterback. And he's someone that we got to make sure we know where he is, and they are a very, very good football team, very strong and stout up front.
Yeah, really stout. I think it's 3.25 yards per rush allowed, one of the top teams in the league at that.
Yeah, they're actually number 2, and it's going to be a great challenge for us to try to run the football.
Look forward to it. Thank
you,
Doug.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Coach. We're back counting down the top 25 Jaguars of all time. There might not be a more likable player on this list than number 11. Linebacker Paul Posluszny is beloved here in Jacksonville for his play on the field and his high character and work ethic in the locker room.
The Jaguars All 25, presented by Sharpie.
Number 11, Paul Posluszny.
When God came down and made a linebacker, they chiseled it and it came out Paul Posluszny.
Was it divine intervention that brought Paul Posluszny to Jacksonville? Probably not, but he did cast the mold to play linebacker for the Jaguars.
Let's go. Fast, physical, from the start. Get your ass downhill. Let's get to the football.
He's the dictionary definition of a middle linebacker. You look in the dictionary, if there's not a picture of pause next to middle linebacker, get a new dictionary.
You look at him and he's got that chiseled face, the linebacker neck, the shoulders, all of that V shape. He looks right out of linebacker 101.
Yeah! Posluszny is second in team history with 973 tackles and holds the single-season tackle record. But his contributions in Jacksonville are bigger than just what he did on the field.
Great job, baby!
Absolutely a pro's pro, as much as there ever has been one, in the locker room, in the community, on the field.
And what does that really mean? It means that other professionals are looking at him because he's setting the example of how you're supposed to be. You could always depend that Paul was going to be there and was going to know what the right thing to do was.
Give me 53 pauses and I'll win you a championship. Nobody ever comported themselves better as a Jaguar, as a pro, prepared himself better, led better by example than Paul Posluszny.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Puz was not only a tackling machine, he has the most interceptions for a linebacker in team history.
Now riding out to his right, turns and throws, and it's tipped, intercepted. Posluszny's got it, fires, it's picked off this time. Steps, turns and throws, and this one is intercepted. Posluszny's got it. He's going back the other way. Posluszny's going. 10-5, touchdown, Jaguars!
When you think of Puz, you think of two-down guy, run stuffer, gap filler, right? He could play in space, man. He had ball skills. He picked off passes. He could read quarterbacks' eyes.
Fires it out to the left side, intercepted. Paul Posluszny has picked it off.
11 interceptions, which ranks 5th in franchise history. 5th. When he was around the ball, he had an unbelievable knack for the ball, a nose for the ball, forcing fumbles, picking up fumbles. But like we talked about, the interceptions, just really good hands.
And that one's picked off. Paul Posluszny with a diving interception.
In his final season, he helped lead the Jaguars to the AFC title game.
Know it in your mind that we're the best in the league. We're the best in the league. Know it in your mind. Yeah. Know it. Play fast. Take care of each other. Let's communicate on the field. And all you have to do is run and hit and run and hit and run and hit.
His presence is still felt in the Jaguars locker room.
Late in his career, even when he's no longer playing the snaps that he did, what's his goal in life? To make Miles Jack a better football player, to leave something behind. Not everybody does that. It's just rare.
You know what I really respect about him? He could have kept playing. But when he didn't think he could play at the same level, he said it was time to move on. That's what was impressive about Puz for me.
For him to go out with his first playoff appearance and then his first 2 playoff victories, then an appearance in the AFC Championship game, short of him walking off with the confetti in Minnesota as a Super Bowl champion, it was the perfect way to go out.
I mean, obviously you'd love to go out with a Super Bowl championship, but to have put together one of the most enjoyable years in Jaguars history and to have been such a big part of it as he was with that defense, a great way for Puz to call it a career.
I think he's going to get hit. Paul Posluszny got him in the backfield.
Paul Posluszny is the 11th best Jaguar of all time.
Still to come on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. We visit the community with members of the Jaguars defense and take you to one of the most important times of the day here at TIAA Bank, lunchtime.
It just allows me to just step up and just put a little bit more extra time into it, making sure my guys knows what's going on. My guy Austin, get him right. I know Joe's going to be playing Sam for us, and then we got a couple other guys that may or may not mix in, so it just allows me to just step up more and just be a leader.
The Jaguars linebackers have been bitten by the injury bug. Miles Jack will have to lead his group with some new guys on the field this week. We're back on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. To you and me, our daily struggles at work or home seem like a huge deal. At times, we forget our neighbors here in Jacksonville have bigger things to worry about. The holiday season is quickly approaching, and the Jaguars wanted to help as much as they can in improving hunger awareness here in Northeast Florida. This Baptist Health feature takes us to a food drive with Avery Jones, DeJuan Smoot, and Najee Good. During the grind of football season, it's easy to forget our neighbors' struggles when we're worrying about our own. For many of us, we can go out to our local store and buy whatever we need to make a meal for our families, while some are unable to put food on the table. Feeding Northeast Florida is taking matters into their own hands to fight hunger in Jacksonville. Padgett & Padgett Law Firm, Florida Blue, and the Jaguars all partnered for a food drive at TIAA Bank.
Is this good?
Everyone put their daily responsibilities aside to work on something much more important.
As players, we're always seen with our helmet on, and Previous teams we've done stuff before, and actually my wife notified me about it going on today because, of our schedule. And it was just an opportunity to get involved.
The fight against hunger will not be solved overnight, but the hope is a continued contribution will make a difference.
People that, need to wonder where their next meal is coming from. It's something a lot of people take for granted, they don't think about. So we're happy that we can partner up with the Jaguars and other great companies and organizations to be able to help these folks out.
In 2018, 14.1 million meals were provided to 8 counties, thanks to Feeding Northeast Florida. The Jaguars and their partners are working to improve that number even more this year. The Jaguars understand the major issue this country is facing with hunger. They'll continue to do all they can to help this holiday season. As you can imagine, a lot of work goes into feeding a football team. Let's meet the team behind the team and show you how meals are prepared here at TIAA Bank Field.
So my job here is to work with the players and make sure that we are incorporating nutrition in order to help improve their performance, decrease their injury risk, and improve their recovery day to day. If there's any injured guys, we'll talk about what they're doing in the weight room and how we can adjust their nutrition needs. Or if there's someone that has been having a lot higher reps because someone else is injured, we make sure we have to adjust that way. So I work with Milo day to day to make sure that we're on top of all the guys that are changing their needs.
Nutrition is a vital, important aspect in the role of strength and conditioning. I call it's part of the low-hanging fruit. It's something that all of our athletes can control. Vitally important is when our athletes just get done exercising on the field and depleting their energy resources, the first thing they do when they come in is they get a post-workout recovery shake.
Everything here is on a timeline, so we need to make sure that the recovery shakes are getting at a certain point. We need to make sure we're ready if there is a lightning storm and they're coming in, that we can be ready on the fly. Same thing with lunches. If practice gets cut short, we need to make sure that the lunches are ready. So everything's on a timeline, and it's very streamlined, and we know every day what it's going to look like before it starts.
Find out more information about natural gas and available energy conservation rebates at peoplesgas.com/cooking. Up next, how the Jaguars can get to 4-4.
Jaguars Weekend is presented in part by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
Hey, hell of a job right there, boys. We need it. Hey, let's stay in our substitutions. You guys all feel good?
There we go. Relax. Play.
You almost hit home right there.
Boy, you should see my kill dude. And then back pick me up. The back check me through. I got to kick on the back.
I got been a little tight. On my rush.
Hey! Hey! DJ! Go! All the way out! All the way!
They seem to be on to us a little bit as to when we're throwing and when we're running. 100%. Getting a lot of input.
Just keep that outside leverage. You did a hell of a job rolling it down, and all of a sudden you started floating inside, and then Dalton gave some ground and got outside of it.
Dang, reaching.
Oh, dang.
I tell him to cut his mustache. A few times.
He's jealous, man. He'll grow one when he grows up.
I am jealous.
He'll grow one when he grows up.
Of course, we have to incorporate some Gardner Minshew mustache talk here on Jaguars Weekend as we bring back Brian and John. The Monday Night Football performance we watched with the Jets, a pretty bad loss. And it seems like this locker room isn't really paying much attention to that game because they played well against the Cowboys the week before that.
Well, they shouldn't pay attention to it because you usually don't see teams lay eggs like that 2 weeks in a row. And Sam Darnold, throughout his career, has not played that way. So I would be surprised if the Jets don't play him tougher. At the same time, I'd be surprised if the Jaguars don't win the game.
Well, and look, the Bengals aren't very good. 8 starters were out last week, and they gave them all they could handle for 3 quarters before the defense created the turnovers. The Jets are far more talented in terms of guys who are on the field than the Bengals. I would expect the Jets to come fighting. I do expect the Jaguars to win. They're in a must-win situation, and this team is more capable right now.
It seems like the defense is going to really want to blitz Sam Darnold and pressure him after watching those 5 turnovers, but you also have to stop Le'Veon Bell.
Well, let me jump in here. He's got he had a toenail removed. I had that done when I was in high school, and I couldn't walk for a week. I don't know how you're going to play professional football. I get it, you shoot him up and all that kind of stuff. I think they should go after him. Their offensive line is not 100%, and you got a quarterback. If you step on his foot a couple of times, he's going to have a hard time moving.
I'd be surprised if they come out all-out blitz all the time because it's not what they are. I also wonder with the linebacker injuries on this team, how much you're going to get out of what you normally do. How complex do you make it? But I do think you're going to see DJ Hayden go after the quarterback a few times.
You bet.
The Jaguars looking to get to 4-4 before they board that flight to London next week. We'll be back next week on the next Jaguars Weekend.